Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here again, and I'm going to tell you exactly why the E3600lfp, this is a spoiler now, is far better than the F3000. I made a list of everything. I have the full E3600lfp, as everyone knows on this channel. I have it maxed out to 15,000 kilowatts. Let me go through right in order here. I'm going to try to go as quick as I can here. Let's see here. Okay, so between the two, we're going to look at the price right away. The E3600lfp for the base system, not the expanded batteries, is $1,259. For the F3000, it's $1,000. Not to mention it's on pre-order, so you'd have to wait if you ordered that. Okay, so we're going to go right down the list here. Number one is solar input. It is hugely different, guys. It's not even close. The F3000 can solar input 1600 watts, and the E3600lfp can actually input up here 2550 watts. That's 1200 for this one, 1200 for this one, and 150 up to on this one. That's 2550 watts. That is a huge difference right off the bat. Not to mention a full kit. If you got the full kit, which this one can take 4 batteries and this one can only take 2, you can charge through the batteries. We do every day, 24 hours a day. You know, when the sun's up, of course. They're hooked up 24 hours a day. We have 2 of the batteries hooked up, and we're running 800 watts through 2 batteries, 400 per each battery. So if you add up all the batteries and the main system of the E3600lfp, that is 4,150 watts of input. That is an enormous amount of power, dangerous amount of power, by the way. You do have to have 7 arrays, 1 for each solar charging input. Now the F3000 can do the 1600 here. There's only 1 input, remember, and then if you put the 2 batteries on there, you can do 400 watts per battery, which brings it up to 2400 watts for the complete system. Now if you look at 2400 watts to 4150, that's hands down a monster upgrade of power coming in. That's almost double. That is a huge amount of power, especially if you're running stuff like air conditioners or heaters or something like that, or induction stoves, or, you know, whatever you're running. I don't know if induction stove is, I think it's 240, but that's a huge amount of power difference as far as what you can, you know, dump into these things. Okay, the second thing is the solar ports. Now we just went over the solar power, the solar ports. Remember, this system, the E3600lfp, has 3 input ports here for solar, not to mention 1 for each battery. So that is a total of 7 input ports. That's huge, guys. That is a huge amount of inputs. This one has 1 on the main system and then 1 on each battery that you put on, which is a total of 3. So you're looking at 7 input ports on this system and only 3 on this system. That is a double, more than double input. So why is this important? Well, number one, you could put more power in. Number two, what if you were to burn out one of the input ports, right? Like, what if you burnt this main one out? You have no backup plan. You have to either send it in or fix it yourself. When you have this system, if you were to happen to, God forbid, burn out one of these ports, look, you have 2 big ones and then the small one. So you have a backup plan. And in solar, that is a huge idea, is to have a backup plan. Okay, so that's done. The MPPT, oh, not to mention that those are all separate MPPT controllers. I believe this little baby one here is on the board, but these have their own standalone MPPT controllers, and then each battery has their own. So that's 7 MPPT controllers on this system and only 3 on this system. That's a monster difference. Okay, the battery, we kind of just went over the batteries, guys. This system maxed out is 15,000 plus watt hours. That is a huge amount of power. You're getting into home backup. Once you pass that 10, I would say maybe at the low end, maybe 8. Once you get above 8,000 watt hours, that's kind of like home backup. But the average person in the United States anyway uses approximately 15,000 watt hours per day. And remember, that's kind of a low average, if you will, if that even makes sense. Depending on what state you're in, of course. If you're in California, you're going to use a lot for air conditioning. And if you're in the colder states, you're going to use a lot more possibly for heating, things like that. Cooking would be probably the same in both, but just to give you an idea, there is no wrong system for you. You pick the one that works best for you. I'm just going off dollar per dollar, power for power, options per options. Huge difference on the E3600 LFP. Okay, let's see what the next one is. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't finish. This one can only do 9,000, which is 2 additional batteries. So you have, see, it's 9,216 right there. The main systems are the same, but it's 9,216 watt hours for this system and 15,360 watt hours for this system. That is a monster difference. Once again, you're looking at a huge amount of difference. 2 batteries, that's 6,000 watt hours more. 6,100 watt hours to be almost exact. Okay, so that's done. Now you have the USB ports. The USB ports are very important for DC users, right? On this system, if I could bring these up here, you have 6 USB ports. In here you have 2 USB-C under this first flap here. And then you have 4 USB-A's, which are grandpa ports, under these little 2 flaps. This one, notice you only have 2 C's and 2 A's. So you're missing 2, they're the same powers, but you're missing 2 A's off that system. So if you are a mobile user and you like a lot of headphones and cell phones and things like that, earbuds and all this stuff that charges to USB, that might be a major concern for you because you have 4 or 5 things charging at one time where you need those extra ports. Laptops, I could run my laptop off this one, if need be. You can go up to 20 volts output. So there's a lot of options with DC output. The other thing was let me skip around here. I gotta cross this off here, guys. Here. All right, we'll do the DC outputs later, but as you can see, the DC outputs are different. Okay, so AC charging. This is a monster difference. This system over here can charge at 1,800 watts from the wall, variable adjustable speed, of course. So you don't pop your outlet if you don't have that much power, or if your generator can't, put out that much and you're charging through a generator. So this is 1,800 watts. This one can also do 1,800 watts. However, notice this funny cable over here. This is a 30 amp cable. This is not a joke. This cable, if you have this special port, right, either at your house or your shop or your business or a generator, this can dump in up to 3,600 watts. That is huge if you're in a hurry for an emergency or you want to go camping and you want to charge this up and take the whole system with you. By the way, someone had mentioned that once you get the system built, you're not going to be moving it anytime soon. Very, very false. It's very simple. As long as you can lift 80 pounds, it literally takes us 5 minutes to take all 5 of these pieces of this system, plus the cables, put it into a van or an RV, and hook it back up. Literally 5 minutes. And that mostly is carrying them. So you have to carry an 80-pound system and then 4 60 to 65-pound batteries. If you can do that, that makes a wonderfully huge camping trip. 15,000 plus watt hours on a camping trip. Imagine that. That's like having a full outlet of your house for an entire day in a camping trailer, tent, RV, whatever you want to do. Where this one, you can do the same, but you max out at that. Excuse me. Let me take a drink of water here. All right, it is hot and dry today, guys. I apologize. 9,000 watt hours. And this one you can also pick up and carry. So don't let the size of a full system scare you away from building a full system. You can take just the system if you want. You can take just that system in 1 battery. You could take 2 batteries, 3 batteries, all the way up to 4. And like I said, it takes us 5 minutes. Literally, that's not a joke. 5 minutes we take all the pieces. There's 2 of us. We walk it out and then we hook them back up. You just basically click them back together with the 90-degree angles and you're done. It's very simple. You can do that with this one too, so don't let that one fool you. You can move these once you make them complete. And that's the great, powerful thing about modular systems. Modular meaning buildable, changeable. You can adapt it to whatever environment or situation or whatever that you're having. If you want to go camping and you just want to take the top parts, take the top parts. Leave the other batteries, at the house or whatever, at the shop or whatever you want to do. You can charge solar through the batteries, like I said, through the batteries themselves. So even if you split them up, like this system, you could take. I lost my mouse here. Well, where's my mouse here, guys? Okay, holy cow, there it is. Okay, you can take this system and split it into 5 rooms and use it that way, right? That's 5 different power stations. This one you could do 3. So as far as an emergency, you have 5 options for an emergency, and this one you have 3. Almost double, right? Okay, so the next thing is wireless charging. I don't use it. I don't use it at all. I don't have a single item that can charge wirelessly. However, my wife does. She's got I think 2 things: earbuddy headphone things and her phone. So on the E3600lfp, look, you have 2 wireless charging devices. Even though I don't use them, other people in your party might, right? That's a big thing. If somebody, like I want to charge my phone, and if you have all these ports full, then obviously you have no wireless on this one to charge a wireless phone or earbuds. And that's one more reason why this has 4 DC chargers here for phones, if you will. This has 6 plus an extra 2 for wireless. That's 8. That's double the wireless charging, right? That's a huge amount. This one also, like I said, has 0 up here. So that's huge. If you're into wireless charging, guys, and you don't have wireless charging pads, well, this one's not going to do you much good, right? Now, like just a disclaimer, I like both of these systems. I really do. But I look at dollar per dollar, power for power. I got to remind everybody that I want what works for me. This one might work for you. So this is only my opinion, of course. But I think it's a very valid point, because I'm pointing out the specs and not opinions. These are just cold hard facts. This does more, this does less. That's just the facts. Okay, so battery cables. This is a huge, I didn't even know about this one. This is huge. I've heard this from multiple people now. So if you buy this system and you buy the battery, which is, let's see here, let me go to, oh boy, I gotta get there. Guys, I gotta get there. Hold on, give me a second. So, let's see here. I think you go here. Nope. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. I'm fighting technology over here. All right, so I should have had this up already. Okay, so if you go here and then you look at the power stations, you'll see the, where's the batteries? Right there. Okay, so if you look at the batteries, this is the battery that works on both systems. So, the problem is, if you look at what comes with this battery, notice it comes with the MJ32 right angle, and this system does not have a right angle MJ32 or MJ32 port on it. That's a big problem. So how to fix that and rectify this, I didn't know this. Like I said, I was brought this information by the scribers, because I don't have this system yet. If you look, you have to purchase this cable for extra $30 just to hook up one battery. Then the second battery can daisy chain off each other using this one. So you're going to have an extra cable like this that you're just going to set aside or throw away, because you have to have this cable, because it has an XT120 on it, and you have to have that to hook into this power station. Let me see if I have a picture of the ports here. I don't have a picture of the ports, guys. Let me see here. Okay, well, here's what comes in the box. Now notice that there's no XT120 cable in the box, right? Which means you have to spend an extra $30 for this if you want to get an extra battery. I think that's big. I think that's really big. Let's see here. Nothing. Okay, there you go here. So this is the cable that I'm referring to. This does not come with the system, guys, of what I was told by many scribers. This system is $30, $29.99 you have, and that's what this is. And if you get the system and order a battery, you can't hook it up. That's frustrating. So I think Pecron should have put this in the system if you ordered, or at least, like say you ordered at least one battery, they should have gave you one of these free. That's just my opinion. I don't work for Pecron, so that's just, you know, wishful thinking, if you will. But this is how you have to hook it up. You have to hook it from the XT120 into the MJ32, and then, like I said, you take the right angle cable that comes with these EP3000s, and then you can hook up a second one if you bought a second one. But if you don't have that cable, you're not going to be using that battery anytime soon. So that's something to really, really think about. I didn't know about that. Like I said, I was kind of flustered when I saw that. That, you know, a lot of reports, you know, saying that, you know, well, you don't get the cable and this and blah. And I'm like, well, you should get the cable. I mean, why not? You know, but as I said, I'm a messenger. That's it. Okay, so the cable you have to buy, it's an extra $30 on this system. Okay, so write all these down. DC outputs. Now we're going back to the DC outputs, not on the USB, but on the actual DC. This one has 2 barrels at 12 volts at 5 amps. So that's 60 watts respectively out of the 2 barrels. Those are probably 5525s or 5521s coming out. I'm not sure. And then you have the old cigarette lighter, which we call cigarette lighter. And that is 12 volts at 12 amps, which is approximately, 12 volts at 10 amps. That is approximately 120 watts respectively. Now, if you look at the E3600, you get this the same 12 volt. Let me see if I can make it bigger here, guys. There you go. And this one. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're cooking with bacon. Okay, so 12 volts, 30 amps. I'm sorry. Boy, I'm getting tongue-tied. 12 volts at 10 amps, so that you get the same cigarette lighter. You get the same 12 volts at 5 amp barrel. But look up here, guys. This is a monster plug. You can run a diesel heater off this. This is a 12 volt up to 30 amp output XT60. That is a monster connection that this system does not have. And if you want to run something big like that diesel heater, you can't do it on this system because this doesn't have a big enough DC output, right? The battery might, because the battery has a special cable that can go up to a certain amount of amps out. I think it's, boy, don't quote me on this, I think it's 30 amp. I'm not sure. But this one has one right on the system. So that's just one more thing of why the E3600lfp is far superior in our opinion. Like I said, I only do the specs, you know. Let's see, you have covers. So this, for some people it doesn't matter. Some people actually hate them. I absolutely love them. My wife loves them. The covers are the port covers. Notice that everything on this system is completely covered with ports. Only the side ones, the expanded battery, have port covers, which means if you take this outside or in the elements or in a dusty room, which you shouldn't do anyway, but if it's emergency, you don't really get a choice, right? All that dust, moisture, can flow into these ports very easily. Now, yes, you could go on Amazon or eBay and buy a very small little adapter thing, the little plug-in things, and you stick in here in the covers. You know, it's kind of like those little safety things for like kids. You put them in the outlet so they can't put stuff in the outlet, those kind of things. But then, once again, you have to buy them extra. I really, really like these ports. Now, the newer set that they have, let me show you the difference here, guys. This is relevant but not relevant. Let me just go to, let's see, the E1000, because we have many systems here. We own many Pecrons. This is the newest style port covers. Notice that they went back and put covers on all of these, right? Now the difference is these covers, in my opinion, I don't like them. They fall out very easily because these have like an inward style, like hinge flap. It's hard to explain. But if you look on these, notice that the flap is on the top. So as you bend it down, it stays shut. It doesn't fall out. I like these 1,000,000% better than the new ones on my E1500lfp, I believe that has it, and the E1000, which is this one. I'm pretty sure that the E1500. Let me double check here, guys. I'm getting off track here. But I want to get as much information out to people so they make a very educated decision. Nope, I apologize. The E1500 did not have covers on it. other than the two main ones. And notice on this one, it does have the flaps with the tabs on the top, and that way they don't fall out. I always thought this one had it, just slipped my mind. So the newer ones, the E1000, oh, you know what, maybe it was the E2400 I was thinking of. Let me check one more system, guys. We're bouncing around now here. Power station, maybe that one's got the flaps. Nope, that one doesn't have the flaps either. Okay, so I stand corrected. So the E1000LFP has the new style flaps, which I absolutely dislike. Like I said, as you pick up the power station, they literally fall out and dangle. I don't like that because, you know, dust and dirt and debris and all kinds of moisture can get inside there. All right, let's close this here. Oh, holy crap, Zilla, I think I just shut down my whole thing here. That's okay. Let me pop this back up here. All right, one small button, and then you have to start over. And we're back. Okay, so let's see. The other things that are hugely different with this system is, if I can go back a page, this system can do 240 volts. This one cannot. If you happen to buy, and lucky enough in life to be able to buy two of these systems, now you don't need extra batteries. You can do one battery each, two batteries. I always recommend you do them equal though. If you're going to do batteries, buy them by the pairs and add them to the system equal. You don't want one leg longer than the other when you run. You know what I mean? It makes it hard. So if one battery system had more battery watt hours, it'll obviously be a mismatched 240 balance. And it'll, you know, one system will run out before the other one. So you want to buy them in pairs if you want to do the 240. Now the 240 plug for this is going to be about, let's see here, I believe it is, I think it's like 35 bucks. We don't need it. This is something that we don't need. Oh, the weird thing is it's in the support, guys. Accessories, I don't know why. They ran out of space probably, but it's in support. And if you go here, you look for the 240 box, which is here. Holy cow, 139. I was thinking of the other cable. The other cable I just bought was 30 bucks. $139. Now this cable allows you to, plus it comes with a communication cable. This puts both E3600lfp together, so you could have 240 volts. This system does not allow 240 volts, no matter how many you buy. And don't try to rig them together, because that would be disastrous. But this system can do 240 volts. So a lot of numbers, guys. So the biggest upgrade of this system that I can think of, and I named a lot. I named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 already that are much better than this system. This is almost like a watered down version of the E3600lfp in my opinion. So the biggest update is I dislike, and Pecron, I'm talking to you, I dislike the Pecron app. I've had troubles with it. Sometimes it lets go, sometimes it won't load on the phone. I don't know if it's phone sensitive. It worked great at 1.7. Past 1.7 we've had issues with it. I don't know if it's our phone, like I said, but I really dislike using the Pecron app. My favorite app of all time, and everyone on this channel knows it, is Bluetti, because it is 100% Bluetooth. You don't have to sign up, email, nothing, password, nothing. You just hop on it in Bluetooth, and if you're afraid that someone's going to hop on your system within 16, 20 feet of your system, you would obviously know if they're close by, and you can turn that off, right? You can turn off the Bluetooth and on the Bluetti system. That is huge. This system, the E3600lfp, has a touchscreen, which is the app, and it is every function that I know of that was in the app, all the information, so you don't have to monkey around with that. To me, monstrous. That is an upgrade. That alone makes me look at this system over that one. Because like I said, and I hope Pecron's listening, and I have to be brutal here, I am not a fan of Pecron's app. I was at version 1.7. It worked pretty good. Now, kind of falling apart. As it updates more, obviously I will update my app and try that appropriately, and then I will correctly rate it then. But until then, I'm not a fan of Pecron app. I can't stress that enough, guys. So if you don't like apps, E3600 is the way to go. There's only a $260 difference between these systems. $260. That's a lot, but when you're dealing with these big systems, that's a measly amount of money. That's 25% more for, look at all the things you get. That's 12 things that I just named that are hugely better on the E3600LFP over the F3000. And like I said, I like the F3000. I'm also going to tell you what I like about the F3000 over the E3600LFP. Spoilers, that's a very short list. So, but it could be a list that helps you. Remember, to each their own. A system is what you need for your situation. Always remember that. So don't take anyone's, buy this, buy what works for you. That's the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, it's your dollar, right? So buy what works for you. So we're going to go into, I believe that's everything that I could think of between the difference. And like I said, I have the full system. We've been doing that test on this one to run the batteries all in daisy chained, not series, they're all in parallel. They're all like this one into a battery. Well, you've seen it if you've seen the video, guys. So now, this is what I like about the F3000LFP over the Pecron E3600lfp. Boy, that's a tongue tire, a tongue twister. This system over that system, and like I said, it's a very short system. So you do have more AC ports by one. I like that. I always seem to be running out of AC ports on this one. We did buy a small adapter for I think it was like $8, and you plug it into this one and it makes it go down to this style. It still can do 30 amps though, although I wouldn't push 30 amps out of a normal cord. Remember that. So like say we want to do our air conditioner, it only runs 450 watts. That's a small one. We put it on this one because then you never have to worry about a power spike, right? Because that can handle 30 amps. My air conditioner is like a soft start thing. It's not going to pull 30 amps. So I'm totally safe that way. But notice that this one has one more 120 volt output. That's a big difference, guys, if you need more, and I wish that this one had one more. The other thing is the newer. So this technology in this one is a newer technology. Now that might be a game changer, because even though this one worked perfect for me, I have had no problems with this, other than I've had one battery that acted weird. I sent it back and got another one. I did not know at that time that you can hard reset the battery. I found that out after I got the new one. So instead of keeping both, of course, I sent one back. But they both worked fine. It just would go off in the screen here. When you hit the switch button, it'll show you all the batteries. One would be a little bit off because I didn't know you could hard reset it. Now, lesson is learned. I wish that was in the owner's manual. I haven't yet to see that. So Pecron, if you could put that in the owner's manual, help some folks out. It'll save you up to $100 shipping it back. Pecron is very nice, and they sent us free shipping labels to send that battery back. So I was very thankful about that. Otherwise, it would have cost me $100. However, like I said, if I knew about the hard reset of the battery, I could have kept that battery because it was fine. It just needed to be reset. So overall, I really didn't have any problems with the system. It was a problem until I knew that there was a solution for it without shipping it back. Okay, now this inverter is 3,600 watts, the AC inverter. This inverter is 3,600 watts, AC inverter. So the difference now, I can't confirm this. Hopefully you guys out there have an F3000LFP and you're able to check that surge for me until maybe I can pick up one of these, or I don't know if I'm going to wait for the F5000. I don't know what my next step is. Might be a server rack. I don't know yet. But this system says, let me shrink this down here so I can show you. This system says, right here, it says 3600 bidirectional PSW, it's power supply inverter, surge to 4,500 watts in 5 seconds. I think they meant 5 seconds. Like, that would make more sense. They can surge up to 4,500 watts for 5 seconds. Pecron, in my opinion, was notorious for having a cutoff right at the limit of the AC inverter. My E3000LFP is still running 24 hours a day, 24/7. We still use it all the time. And that one, once you hit 2,000 plus watts, it cuts off like a light switch. It's done. and you have to reset it. The E3600 went a little bit higher. That was cool. The E1500 went a little bit higher. That was cool. That means that they're getting better with their AC inverters. I was very happy to see that, because you will always get power surges from time to time depending on what you plug in. Something as simple as a fan. You plug in a fan. You can test this yourself. Buy one of those little a kilowatt meter, and you plug it in the wall. You can literally watch the power go up and then back down. Anything that has a compressor or motor has what's known as a power surge to get it going. It's like a power starting power surge that it has to get, same with your car. When you start your car, use an immense amount of power from that battery. And then once the car is started, doesn't need the battery anymore, and the power needed for the car obviously goes down to almost nothing, because now it's being run off the alternator. So it's kind of like these. So when you first plug in something with a compressor, it could go up to like, I don't know, a fridge can go up to like 1,000 watts, sometimes more. And then it comes down to, ours anyway, it comes down to about 70 watts. That's a huge difference, right? 70 watts running to up to possibly, well, I think it was like 700 or 800, but I'll say 1,000, because one of them does. We have a freezer and a fridge. From 70 and 65, I think is the other one, all the way up to 1,000 on a surge. That is a monstrous amount of power just to start those compressors, because it takes so much power to do a motor or a compressor. The other thing is the power button. So this system has a new option where I at first I really didn't care about it. Now it kind of makes sense. I personally, I don't think I would use it, because like I said, I don't like Pecron's app. I'm just being 100% honest. I'm not a fan of it. Not yet anyways. So, and I've talked about it in length in many videos. This system has a DC inverter on button and an AC inverter on button, as well as, I forgot this, the buttons actually light up. That's cool. I forgot my E1000LFP has lit buttons. I forgot to write that down. So there's, let me write that down real quick. The buttons have lights. Okay, the buttons have lights. Okay, because I'm making a list here in case anybody wants to see it and check it twice. These light up, and then you have the DC and the AC inverter buttons that are independent, separate of course, and then you have the same over here. And this system, they give you this little like glow in the dark sticker that you put around these buttons that mimic lit up. I like these buttons better. And then this also has another button over here. Now, those of us who are familiar, this is called the angry smile, that everybody knows about. That's called a power switch. What that does is it allows you to turn on the system but leave the inverters off. How would this be helpful? I'll give you a scenario. I didn't think of this at first. Say but like I said, then you'd have to use the app, which counts me out. That's why I didn't really care about it. So, say you have your system on, and it's doing its charging from solar or whatever, and you're at work, and you say, you know what, I'm going to turn on the AC 30 minutes before I get home. Like say on the way home, you go on your app and you turn on the AC, and your AC is already designed, that has or a heater or a coffee, whatever you want to turn on, and you could turn on the app's AC or DC functions right there, right? And you can control all the buttons from there. But like I said, you'd have to use the app. I'm not a fan of it. So that's the plus of this system. That is everything that I can think of this system. Oh, there's one more. I forgot. This is a big one. Now they're popping into my head here, guys. Because I don't have the system, obviously, I don't remember a lot of them, so I have to write them down. So this system has a very, very big thing. If you look at the side with the vents, this side. So if you, oh, wait a minute, I lost it. Okay, this one. If you look at this vent, do you see this little thing right here? This is where you put a screwdriver or something nicely in there, and then you could poke this open and you can clean out the filter. There's like a little screen filter thing for the fans. That is a huge upgrade. Way to go, Pecron. I gotta commend him on that. What I did on my system is I took a dryer sheet and I taped it over the input. And then if you change it every week or every month or whenever it gets, you can see it. It starts to look, obviously, dirty or dingy. You just untape it and you put another one. You can use electrical tape or something like that, and it works just fine. It doesn't change the cooling. It doesn't limit the inflow of heat. It flows right through the same as this filter would. So that's what I do to compete against this. However, this is very nice. Now that's a nice, and maybe Pecron took my idea which they've taken a lot of ideas from this channel, because we talk about what we want to see and what we wish on their newer systems, and then magically they pop up on their newer system. So we are definitely part of the team. If we can get an idea out there and it helps our community, awesome. I'll make you a list. I already have many times. But this is a really cool update for this system. I really like that a lot. I know I talked about this before. These are actual true 30 amp outputs at 120 volts. So yes, you can pull, it says 125 volts right here, but the system puts out 120. 125 volts is the rating of this port. And that was the big thing. If you look at the other system, if I could jump around again, if you look at the E1500, no wait, which one had it? The newer E2000. Like, just keeping track of these numbers, guys, is crazy. And they're all stuck in my head. So this is the E3600lfp. And if you look at this one, let me go back here. Okay, there, you get a better view. So if you look at this one, notice it says 125 volts at 30 amps. This system, this is the newer version of the E2000lfp. This system cannot, I repeat, it cannot put out 30 amps. It will pop the inverter. The most that you can put out, I think, is just over 16 amps. The reason for that is kind of what I just explained. This port, just the port, like if you were to go buy this port at Menards or Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that, this port is rated at 125 volts at 30 amps. However, the inverter pushing this port is only rated up to 2,000 watts, which is just, I think, a hair over 16 amps. So even though it says 30 amps, and a lot of people complain about this, and you know, I can't really say this is Pecron's fault. It would have been nice if there would have been like a little, you know, how they put a little asterisk and they say if you want true 30 amps, it's not. That would have been nice, only because the port says it, and most people, you know, they always believe what they read. I get that, and that's fair. That's a fair argument. However, if you understand electricity, 30 amps cannot come from a 2,000 watt inverter. It just can't, unless you're running a lower voltage, which you don't want to do. So, just a big heads up, guys. If you're going to get this system and you're looking at this one, that is not a true 30 amp output. It is the same as these, maybe a little bit more, maybe, but that's big. These two systems are true 100% 30 amp outputs. That's a big thing. One thing I noticed with this system, this is kind of like I don't know, like off off the subject here. If you're having this hooked up to 240, you cannot charge with the AC. That's a big thing for this system, and the reason for that is I was told by other channels that the 240 and the 120 doesn't mix, of course, so you have to charge through solar. So if you charge DC power in through this thing or through the batteries, then I guess you can run the 240, but you can't run AC running 240. I can't confirm that. That's what I've heard from many other channels, big channels, by the way. So, you know, if you guys have information on that, as I said, we don't use or need 240. We just don't. Maybe in the future we would. Right now we don't. We don't have anything that we need anywhere that we need 240 for. Our gas in this building, I'm sorry, the heater in this building is still gas run. The dryer's gas run, and the water heater is all gas run for natural gas. So all of our big stuff, and we have a gas stove. So all the big stuff that we have in this building, all run by gasoline still, or I'm sorry, natural gas. So we don't need the 240 as of yet. That might change in the future. Okay, well, I think this is pretty much everything I can think of, guys. If you're in the market for one of these, if I can make only an opinion, I labeled 12 things that are hugely better with the E3600lfp. I'm going to go through them really quick just so people can jot them down. The solar, much better. The solar MPPT controllers, more of them. The inputs, more of them. The battery, 15,000 to 9,000. You do the math, that's better. USBs, you get 6 to 4. That's better. AC charging, 1,800 watts on both, 3,600 on the E3600. That's hugely better. 200% more. I'm sorry, 100% more AC power coming in. Wireless charging, E3600 has 2. This one has none. 240 volt system. Yes, this one has none. The touchscreen, the biggest thing that I love about that system is the touchscreen. Hands down, I use it every single day. And spoilers, even when I don't need to, I goof around and play with that touchscreen. It is so cool because I don't have to open the app. Huge, huge for me. Battery cables, you have to buy that cable. Now in the future, if they're going to give you a free one, it doesn't say anything here about sending you a free one, guys. Here's the description, right? A lot of people didn't know about that. I didn't know about that because I don't have the system. I was told that from the scribers, which that's why we are a scriber family. We help each other. Extra $30, right? Extra $30. I love the right angle cables. I love them. Love them. I gave Pecron that idea a year and a half ago. You should make right angle cables. Next thing you know, they made them. Awesome. I'm part of the team for sure. I don't work for Pecron though. Don't forget. I throw out ideas. I want our whole community to have better and cooler stuff. DC outputs. This has a 30 amp output. This does not. That is a huge upgrade. Huge if you want to run a diesel heater or something heavy. If you want to charge RC batteries that are monstrous. That 30 amp output is huge. Covers. This has dust covers. This does not. So that is 12. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's 12 things that I named that I like better. Now, for the F3000, in a nutshell, you have one more AC port, okay? You have a newer technology. That might be a difference. That might be a game changer. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. You do have, so it says that 4,500 watt surge. That's huge if it's real. You guys have to confirm that to me because I don't have the system to test it. Not yet anyway. This has a power button for the option of, I told you that you could turn it on like on your way home from work, or if you're at work and you go, oh, I forgot to turn off the whatever, turn on something, not turn off, because if you have the system on, you can turn off, but you can't turn it back on. That allows you to turn the inverters on and off 24 hours a day. But don't let it fool you. People say, oh, it doesn't use any power. Anything with a power button uses power. That is a huge misconception of a lot of people's ideas out there, that you turn this power button on and it doesn't use any power. Baloney. Everything with a power button uses power, hence the name. It's a power button, right? Which means it needs power just to turn on the button. It is a lot less power, but it does utilize power, so just don't forget that. And then you have the lights. I love the lights as far as the little light up things. This does not have the touchscreen. This has the old original E2000, E1500, E2400. I think that's all of them. So many systems now. And the vents. That's huge. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's 6 things that I really think that are great on this system that I wish were over here, and then there's 12 things over here that I wish that were over here. If these systems were to team up, you'd have a home run. All right, guys, it's been 40 plus minutes. I went through everything that I could think of. Please, I want to hear your comments. If you think I missed something, throw it in the comment section. We can chat about it. This is a big update for this whole system. And I'm going to put this video up tonight at about 8 o'clock, so about a half an hour. Hopefully we can get a bunch of people in the chat and we can talk about these systems and see what's best for you. As I always said, and I always will say, there is no right or wrong answer. It's whatever system is right for you. Your situation, your circumstances is completely unique to the person next to you. So pick the system that works for you. I'm just showing you the stats. Like baseball players, if this guy hits more home runs and you're looking for home runs, you don't pick the guy with the least home runs, right? I look at all the specs of a system. All right, guys, well, ramble on, be safe, and I'll see you next time here at Ramblin Bob Reviews. Links in the description if you want to check these out, and I'm going to stay in the chat for a while if you guys want to chat. All right, bye, guys.